السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيف حالك يا جواد؟
الحمد لله أنا بخير، كيف أنتم يا أستاذنا الكريم؟
الحمد لله أنا بخير كذلك. بسم الله، الحمد لله، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ramadan Kareem to everyone. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this Ramadan a source of forgiveness for all of us, uh, and a way for us to get closer to Him. Bil khair, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah ta'ala, today we will be starting the first class of the Ramadan halaqah, inshallah ta'ala. And we will be starting with the study of Matn un-Nahw al-Saghir and Matn us-Sarf al-Saghir by Sheikh Sulaiman al-Uyuni, hafidhahullah ta'ala. These two texts, which have been written, one in Nahw and one in Sarf, they're both modern texts. However, they have been written uh, they've been written as short treatises. So they are not like detailed modern books, for example, such as As-Sarf al-Kafi or Jami' al-Durus al-Arabiya or Mukhtasar al-Khatib or At-Tatbiq al-Nahwi or At-Tatbiq al-Sarfi. Those books have been they are modern works or contemporary works, and alongside that they have been written considering the contemporary style in units and chapters, and they're more detailed. This book has been written on the format of a Matn, a Matn Arabi or a Matn Shar'i. So usually when we find mutun ilmiya in the Islamic tradition, we see that they are very brief, a few lines, قليل المبنى كثير المعنى, that they have few sentences and few words, but they have deep meanings. So this has been written in that style as opposed to the other style. And it's a beneficial text. The language which has been used is fairly simple. It is language which people are familiar with. Alhamdulillahi ta'ala. As far as the study of Arabic ulum is concerned, Nahw and Sarf form two of the most important ulum from the overall corpus of the Arabic sciences and the Arabic subjects. Arabic, as we know, is a holistic language, اللغة العربية. It's a very rich language, and that richness of it leads to a lot of nuanced meanings and so on and so forth. Now, اللغة العربية, or the Arabic language, its traditional study has been divided into a number of sciences. Some of those sciences deal with the overall content of the language, the kalam of the Arab and its preservation. And the main science which deals with that is ilm al-adab. Ilm al-adab. Ilm al-adab and the books of adab such as al-bayan wa-tabyin, or al-bayan wa-tabayyun, as some scholars say, by al-Jahil, and adab al-katib by Ibn Qutaybah, and other works, al-amali by Abu Ali al-Qali. These were, and al-kamil by al-Mubarrid. These works preserved the speech of the Arabs and the style that the Arabs used to speak in. From ilm al-adab, ilm al-muhadarat also sprouts. It's closely related to adab. Then you also have the linguistic study of Arabic, which is studied in fiqh al-lugha, or philology, and the relationship of Arabic to other languages. After that, you also have a science which deals with rules of writing and punctuation, which comes as قواعد الإملاء والترقيم. These are the rules for writing down Arabic. Apart from these sciences, you have two other types of sciences. One that deals with al-mufradat, or individual words. So words like rajul, kataba. And the other part deals with murakkabat, or constructs and sentences, phrases and sentences. So the sciences that deal with mufradat are many. You have ilm al-mufradat. You have ilm al-ma'ajim, the dictionaries. Ilm al-mufradat, such as the work of Tha'lab, Muwatta al-Fasih. So there are books which mention certain vocabulary words of the language. Then you have dictionaries. These tend to do with meaning. They tend to deal with meaning. Then, as far as structure is concerned, you have ilm al-Sarf, which studies the transformation and morphing of words. So how one word transforms into another and why it transforms. For example, kataba means he wrote. And from kataba you get katib and yaktub, and so on and so forth, right? So these are different words that you get from one root, which and you have these transformations in the Arabic language for the expressing of meanings. Sometimes the transformation is not for the purpose of meaning, it's for the purpose of ease and pronunciation. And a branch of ilm al-sarf, or you can say an appendage to it, is ilm al-ishtiqaq. An appendage to it is ilm al-ishtiqaq, which is the science of etymology. Some scholars consider it to be a part of Sarf, some consider it to be a separate science, some say it's an appendage or an appendix to ilm al-Sarf. Ilm al-Ishtiqaq is the study of etymology, so how words with close, with close match in root letters, how they're related and so on and so forth. That is ilm al-Ishtiqaq. So these are the sciences which deal with the individual words. Then you have sciences which deal with the Arabic sentence. You have un-Nahw, which is syntax, the study of sentences and how sentences are made. Then you have, from a more semantical perspective, ilm al-Balagha, which studies the deeper meaning of, which studies how the deeper meaning of those sentences and how changes in certain elements of the sentences can lead to different meanings. You also have ilm al-arudi wal-qawafi. Ilm al-arudi wal-qawafi studies sentences, but poetic sentences or versified sentences. So these are the main sciences of the Arabic language. These make up the study of the Arabic language, al-lughatul Arabiya. Now that we understand the overall structure of the Arabic sciences, Arabic, initially it was a spoken language. Most of the Arabs did not know how to write. The Arabs were an ummi nation. And eventually the writing script came into existence. People started to write the language down. And then the writing script also went through different stages and phases. Initially, people used to know the language simply saliqatan. They used to know the language because it had been passed down to them from their parents. They learned it from their tribesfolk. Arabs would send their kids to the Badia so that they would learn the pure language. Such as in the case of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who was sent with Halima as-Sa'diyah. Later on, when many non-Muslim nations accepted Islam during the age of the rightly guided caliphs, al-Khulafa, the main Khulafa, al-Khulafa al-Rashidun. During that time, weaknesses started to appear in the language of the people. Some narrations mention people reciting the Quran wrongly or making mistakes while reciting the Quran. Some mention people making mistakes in speaking. And generally, the scholars of Nahw, they mention that it was Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali on the orders of Ali bin Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu, who wrote down the first rules of the Arabic language. And they consider Abu al-Aswad to be the wadi' of ilm al-Nahw. the initiator or the founder of ilm un-Nahw. Some say it was Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anh, because there are narrations which mention that Ali radiallahu anh mentioned 2 or 3 rules to Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali on a piece of paper. So some say it was Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anh, some say it was Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali. And when it comes to the founder of ilm us-Sarf, some say that because Sarf was initially included in the study of Nahw, because the early books of grammar which you find contain rules of both Nahw and Sarf, like Kitab Sibawayh and the Mufassal of Zamakhshari and so on and so forth. So they say because Ilm al-Sarf was a part of Nahw, Abu al-Aswad is the wadi' of both Nahw and Sarf. Others mention other aqwal such as Mu'adh bin Muslim al-Harra al-Kufi, and some say it was Abu Uthman al-Mazini, because Abu Uthman al-Mazini is considered to be the first person who separated Sarf from Nahw and treated it as an independent discipline, an independent subject. And a lot of people, they say it was Abu Uthman al-Mazini, who is the founder of Ilm al-Sarf, and Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali, who is the founder, initiator of Ilm al-Nahw. And these sciences, they continue to develop. Initially, as I said, Sarf was just a part of Nahw. The Basrans started off by discussing the rules of Nahw. Eventually, they started writing the rules down. Then the Kufan school came into existence as well with al-Kisa'i. And Kisa'i and his students and their students, they had discussions, they started writing down, and then there were debates between the Basrans and the Kufans, and these 2 schools developed further. And then there were some sub-schools later on. But at the end of the day, these rules that we see now in the books of Nahw, they started off as discussions and debates between the early scholars of grammar, who were deducing these rules from the Quran and the Sunnah and the Kalam of the Arab, the speech of the Arabs. And they were writing down those rules. And eventually, Sibawayh wrote his kitab, which became the foundation of these sciences. It became the foundation of these sciences. طيب. Coming to Matn un-Nahw al-Saghir, the concise treatise on Nahw by Sheikh Sulaiman al-Uyuni. Sheikh Sulaiman al-Uyuni, he starts off the book by talking about the mawdu' of ilm al-Nahw, the subject matter of Nahw, and the tartib of ilm al-Nahw. Before we get into that, let's define Nahw. I've mentioned here that Nahw is the science which contains principles by which we get to know the conditions of the endings of words, in addition to how a sentence is constructed using those words. So this definition really has two parts. So Nahwu, first and foremost, it's a science. It is a science or a subject. And this subject is made up of principles and rules. Okay, what are these principles and rules about? Number one, these principles and rules, they are about the conditions of the endings of the words, right? So you have a given Arabic sentence, such as here, like ذهب زيد إلى السوق. Now, Arabic is a language which has in it a phenomenon called inflection or i'rab. You don't have this in English. You don't have i'rab in English. English is not really a mu'rab language. But in mu'rab languages which have i'rab in them, what happens is that the endings of the words, they tell you about the position and overall meanings of the words. So for example, Abdullah, in English we say Abdullah opened the door. Now in English it's fairly simple. You can see that Abdullah is the subject, opened is the verb, the door is the object. So Abdullah did the action of opening the door. In Arabic, it's not as simple as that. In Arabic, you figure out which word is the subject, which word is the object, and so on and so forth, by looking at these endings of the words. These harakat, this fatha and the kasra and the dhamma and the sukoon, these harakat and other things, other signs, tell us what the position of the word is and what the grammatical function and role of the word is in the sentence. This is what we mean by Arabic being a language which has i'rab in it, right? Here in English, the vowels are not telling us anything apart from pronunciation, right? They're not playing a grammatical function. In Arabic, these vowel markers, fatha, dhamma, kasra, and other alamat as well, other signs, they play a grammatical function. The endings of the words, such as here as well, khalidun mujtahidun, dun mujtahidun, this they tell us about the grammatical function of the word and what the word is doing in the sentence, what role it is playing in the sentence. So Arabic studies these endings, these endings of the words. Nahwu studies these endings because these endings are playing a grammatical function. Here, Zaydun, it has two dhammas. Based on the rules of Nahwu, this means that it is the subject. And as-Suq is the object. And dhahaba is the verb. In Arabic, word orders are more flexible. They can change. So for example, ضرب عمرا زيد. Now here it would seem that Amr hit Zayd, because ضرب means to hit. But no, we said عمرا زيد. So this haraka shows me that Zaydun is actually the subject, the doer of the verb, and Amran is the object, the one who was hit. Because of these two fathas, they play a grammatical function. So in Arabic, the case endings, these endings of words, they play a grammatical function and they tell us what the word is about. So the first thing you study in Nahw is the conditions of the endings of the words and how they affect and how they represent the grammatical function of words. The second thing is how a sentence is constructed, how to make a sentence using those words. That's Nahw in a nutshell, right? Now let's get back to Sheikh Sulaiman al-Uyuni's book, inshallah ta'ala. So Sheikh Sulaiman says, اعلم, know, وفقني الله وإياك, may Allah enable you and me to do good, أن النحو يدرس أحكام الكلمة وأحكام الكلم. That Nahw studies the rules of the word, or rules related to the word, and rules related to kalim, rules related to speech, or you can say constructions. فالنحو مكون من جزئين كبيرين. Nahw is made up of two big parts. So he's saying that Nahw mainly studies the word, the Arabic word, and it has some rules related to it, and it studies Arabic speech and constructions, phrases and sentences. And that's how he divides his book. That's how he divides the study of Nahw into two sections. The first section deals with the rules related to words, individual words, and then rules, and the second part deals with rules which are related to speech, constructions, phrases, and sentences, so on and so forth. Mainly sentences. So he says here, فيدرس في الجزء الأول قسم الكلمة. In the first part, it studies the section on the kalima, the Arabic word. And so it studies types of words. أنواع الكلمة. وانقسام الاسم إلى نكرة ومعرفة. And the categorization of a noun into definite and indefinite. وانقسام الكلمة إلى معرب ومبني. And the categorization of an Arabic word into declinable or inflectable and or non-inflectable, whether it's mu'rab or mabni. ويدرس في الجزء الآخر قسم الكلم. And in the second part, it studies the section on speech. الجملة الفعلية, the verbal sentence. والجملة الاسمية, the nominal sentence. ومكملات الجملتين, and those things which complete the two sentences. من منصوبات ومجرورات وتوابع. وإعراب الفعل المضارع رفعا ونصبا وجزما. And the إعراب of the فعل المضارع. He says here that Arabic syntax deals with the phenomenon of, we mentioned this, the Arabic syntax deals with the phenomenon of constructing sentences in Arabic and deciphering the grammatical functions of words that have been used in a sentence. So when words are studied in Arabic, when we say that words are studied in Arabic, when words are studied in Nahw, Nahw is not studying the structure of the word. This is where it's different. This is where it diverges and separates from ilm al-sarf. Nahw does not study the structure of the words. On the other hand, it studies the ending of the word and the grammatical function that ending plays in a sentence. That's where Nahw and Sarf diverge and become separate disciplines. So the main subject matter of Nahw is kalima, but kalima, or the word, the Arabic word, from which perspective? From the perspective of its structure? No. From the perspective of the grammatical function of its endings and Arabic speech overall, kalim or kalim and kalam. So it studies words from the perspective of what function they are performing in the sentence. Is the given word the subject of the sentence or the object? Is the given word an essential element of the sentence or an additional one? And then it studies overall Arabic speech, the grammatical functions of words in a sentence and how that affects the overall meaning of the sentence and how words can be put together to form correct sentences. Nahu does not study the Arabic word from the perspective of its individual structure and meaning. These areas are covered in dictionaries and ilm al-sarf. This is a diagram illustrating the subject matter of Nahu. After that, Sheikh Sulaiman, he divided Nahu into two broad sections. So he said that based on its subject matter, Nahu can be divided into two broad sections. One section deals with the Arabic word, the other deals with Arabic speech. And he mentioned the different things which come under those sections. Right. I've mentioned here that the inflection of words or i'rab, the i'rab of words, i'rab refers to the function a word has in a sentence. And Arabic syntax or Nahu is all about understanding that function and how it relates to the overall meaning. Now, a question might arise in the mind of the beginner that what is i'rab? We're talking so much about this i'rab, what is it? And I briefly explained it to you guys. In Arabic, when we put words together in a sentence, these words, they have a case ending. This case ending, the ending of the words, like dun in ja'a zaydun, and then in ra'aytu zaydan, and then in marartu bi zaydin. The ending of the word shows what function the word is playing, what function the word has, and what role it is playing in the sentence. Is it the subject in the sentence? Is it the object? Or is it something else? And so on and so forth. So i'rab is referred to as inflection in English grammatical terminology. Now you can notice three sentences in Arabic here. جاء زيد رأيت زيدا مررت بزيد. جاء زيد. Zaid came. Now in English, we simply say Zaid came. In the second one, رأيت زيدا. I saw Zaid. In the third one, مررت بزيد. I passed by Zaid. You can see that in English, Zaid remains unchanged. It remains unchanged. In Arabic, it's different. So in the first case, in the first sentence, it's جاء زيدٌ. In the second one, it's رأيت زيدًا. In the third one, it's مررت بزيد. Why? Why is it different in Arabic? In English, you can point out the function of the word based on its positioning and the overall meaning of the sentence. Zayd came. Here, Zayd is the subject. I saw Zayd. Here, I is the subject, and Zayd is the object. I passed by Zayd. Here again, I is the subject. Zayd is the object. In Arabic, the way to decipher these grammatical functions is by looking at the ending of the word.